All right, here we are. I want to tell you one of my favorite interactions I ever had with somebody I was helping. Now, this goes back, we're looking at 16 years now. I was a facilitator for anger management in my community to mandated clients. Now, this one specific class, I had a gentleman in there who his career, he was breaking into and through was MMA fighting. Like he was on quite a bit of cards in that. So he got into a fight and judge put him through to my class. No problem. So he's a nice young man, everything like that. There was, I had no issues with this young man. But as the classes were going in that, he didn't see any issues with, the way that he was conducting himself, and that he saw himself as defending himself and his friends, his girlfriend, whatever that looked like. Now, I know the charges because, I'm working with these people. It's important to know the charges, but it's not up to me to start telling everybody else what they are. And that's not part of the class, but they're welcome to speak about their own. Absolutely. So one day in the class, he was talking about that he wasn't able to compete for like 6 months. And he was pretty upset about that, but he was already on a card coming up and he was excited. Perfect. So as we're going in, he starts telling people that he's actually in there because of fist fighting. He's fighting in bars and stuff like that, but he doesn't think it's a big deal. So now that he's already told everybody else why he's in that, now I'm going to ask him if he wants to work on that, how we can shift this. And he agrees because he's actually really open to, learning new things. Not like he's a really, really good dude. So I was like, all right, so show us the poster. So he brings out the poster and he's like midway, right? Like he's worked hard. He's midway. He's doing really well. He's not very old. I think he's like 22 maybe. Now this is a long time ago, okay? But at the time he was like 22. And I was like, okay. So the guy on the ticket, like the head guy on the ticket, I go, why don't you just go in and just fight him? Just go in and fight him. And he goes, oh, you can't do that, Natalie. Like, I have to get through a bunch and meet weights and do all these things so that I am in a position where I can challenge him. And I was like, oh, okay. So where on the card here do you have to work for the privilege to fight these people? Like, is it you and below you can just fight whoever? Anybody can walk in and take a shot at you? Is that a thing? And he laughed at me and he goes, no, that's not a thing. You can't do that. You can't just come in and think that you're going to fight me. You have to work for that. And I just gave him the blankest of stares and tilted my head and said, are you sure? And the guy next to me goes, she's got you. And even at that point, he was like, what do you mean? And I said, okay, it's Sunday. We're not back until next week. The other gentleman on the card, you speak to them all week? I do. Okay. Next weekend when you come in, this is what I'd like to know. I would like to know when the last time any of them were involved in a street fight. That's all I want to know. When was the last time they were involved in a street fight? And he's like, no problem. Goes home for the week. Comes back Saturday morning. I have everybody in there. And he's devastated. Devastated. Because everyone, pretty much except for him on the card, is like, what do you mean you're fighting? Why are you fighting? Why would you put yourself in a position where you're going to get hurt or could get hurt or go to jail? Every single one of them, their last street fight was high school. It was when they decided that if fighting was going to be part of their lives, since it had been for so long, that it was no longer going to look like that. They refused to fight. Absolutely refused. And the one on the main ticket, he was so dead set against fighting outside of the ring that for him, self-defense was literal self-defense. The minimal amount of force he would need to use to protect himself. But under no circumstances is he going out there and throwing hands, because he's seen himself differently now. He had a lot of training. You could no longer press his buttons. Now you had to work at the privilege to being able to even just step in the ring with him. He took it very seriously. And the people that were training with him and around him also took it very seriously. So now we had this young man in class who was learning in real time that wanting to be a fighter is very strict. It's balanced. It's very controlled. And it takes a lot of self-discipline, integrity, dignity, things like that. And it was like he thought just because he was really good at throwing hands, he could just do that, and he should do that. So later that night, him, his girlfriend, and all of them are out. And the friends that he goes out with aren't the friends that he trains with. So he changed the way he was when he went out. So even when he was out with friends who were like constantly fighting in that, he didn't engage. He stopped engaging. He goes, for the first time ever in my relationship, we ended the night without fighting. Her and I went and ate. I don't know where they went because they left 3 hours ago chasing whatever. But we went, we played darts, we, picked music on the jukebox, and then we went to get food later that night. And he goes, and it was just super easy. He goes, as soon as I understood that it's a privilege to be able to step in the ring with somebody, and it should be no different for me. And it's just it was so amazing because the men in the group that I was facilitating around him really helped him understand in the power of his attention and where he put it, and how, as we're learning the triggers and how to unplug them, why it's so important, because a snap decision specifically for somebody who is a trained fighter can change the entire trajectory of their life. And he was sitting in a pivotal moment in his, and he could choose right then and there. Is it going to be controlled fighting? Or are you going to open the door that anyone at any time can challenge you? And whatever you choose will determine the quality of your life moving forward. Yeah. But the best part about the work in anger management that I did was it was all collaborative work. I'm working with the people around me, the people that are taking the class and we're all together helping because there's so many perspectives, but it's all a joint effort into helping one another. And that's one of my favorite experiences about working in my community and helping people see life differently. It's easy to let your thoughts and triggers run around and control you because it feels empowering. It does. It feels really especially when anger takes over. But when you actually see what's happening and you let it go, that's where you see that's where the power lies, is when you control it. It no longer controls you.